What's up, everyone? Today I'm going to be going over how to set up Google Ads for a tree service company. So this video is brought to you by treecompanyleads.com and I am surfsideppc.com. So if you recognize my voice from YouTube, yes, it is me, Surfside PPC. Treecompanyleads.com. I partnered with a tree service expert, so knows tree service business inside and out. I work on the marketing side of it, and we have a really good team that will help you from top to bottom, from website development to driving all of your leads. So if you need help, go to treecompanyleads.com and just fill out your form. Let's get into the actual video itself. This will be really helpful for anybody who owns a tree service company that wants to get started with Google Ads, or anybody who is actually actively running Google Ads as an agency. So create your first campaign in simple steps. So when you create your account, you might see something that looks like this. So generally, if we create our first campaign, so let's set up our first campaign. You have a pending spend $1,200 to get $900 offer available. Finish signing up to secure this offer available to new advertisers only. So you can get active promotions when you do set up your account. I generally get better promotions in this, so I'm able to actually sometimes get better ones when I create them within my account. Hi Corey, let's set up your first campaign. So my business website. Okay, and what we want to do is start with our business website. So I am going to be using an example website for this one. I'm going to actually be doing a lot of tutorials on this channel for different tree service websites, and I'm actually getting one built like Corey's Tree Service, just like a fake website that I'll use for tutorials. But let's set up our first campaign. I'm going to be using this example today. So this is a local tree service to me. Actually, a really nice website, pretty good video. They have images here. I always like seeing when it is, somebody shows their face and shows the business owner itself. And then basically they have ways to contact them directly through here. So I don't know exactly how this is built. Looks like some type of no branding, so they must pay for no branding on it. And then if we scroll to the top here, they have the phone number, get a free estimate, so get a free quote here. So the most important thing is making sure that you are available for all of these. Now, this is where having somebody to actually follow up with some of these is a really good practice, actually. But as we come in here, let's go take our URL. This will actually be a really good example for how to set up this. Enter our landing page URL. We don't need to invite users to this account. This is where you can invite additional people as far as, administrators or other agencies that you're working with. So describe your business, get better campaign suggestions. So when you're starting your initial campaign, they'll basically pull in all the data they have about your company. We'll have specific products or services that we're advertising. So we'll click on next. We have our linked account. So if you do have these, you do want to link them. These are actually not relevant to this account, but YouTube channel, you definitely want to link. Google Analytics 4, you want to link. This is where you would link your Google business profile. Phone number, we would want to add that as well. Mobile app, I would say most tree service companies don't have a mobile app, so you don't have to do that part. Phone number, let's add this. So I'm going to just add my own phone number here. So let's go to So I'll add my own phone number so nobody ends up calling them by accident, but you would add your phone number. Okay, and we'll click on done here. Link your Google business profile. This is really straightforward. If everything's through your same Google account, then click on add. It should just pull it directly up. Like I have a Surfside PPC Google business profile. I have access through my Surfside PPC email. So if it's a different email in the business profile, I would give access to my personal email. I just use this email for tutorials, but give this to my personal email, and then basically we would go from there. So it just would link very easily. Once you click on link, it just brings it right up, just like this. So we'll click on next. We don't want to actually link this, but that's fine. Click on next. Okay, so our goals are going to be phone call leads, and then also you would want to track this actual live chat form here, and you would want to track the form on the website, the get a free estimate form. So those are going to be the main things that we would want to track here. So if we're looking at the contact page, calls to this number, quote form fill outs, and then also anybody who is interacting with this. And really there's probably a step associated with this, or once they send their information, sometimes there's like an event that takes place. A lot of these integrate directly with Google Analytics 4. This is where it could be a little difficult talking about this on a video, but what I always recommend doing is if you're using a tool like this, whatever tool that it is, do a quick Google search, live chat tool, Google Analytics 4 integration, live chat tool, Google Ads integration. And usually they'll have a pretty easy integration. Contact the company directly, because that's a really big part of having your live chat, is that if somebody is going to say name, email, and send it, once this live chat starts and you have that information, you could count a conversion, because at the very least, it's somebody saying, hey, I'm interested in XYZ. So as long as you're getting good live chats coming in, I would count this as a conversion. Just figure out how it integrates directly with your Google Ads account. So the other thing is going to be the form. Easiest way to track a form is with like a thank you page tracking, but there's other ways to do it as well. So what we want to do is we want to come back over here and do phone call leads, submit lead form. They're only letting us choose one right now. We would definitely want to add more. For now, I would say phone call leads is the most important for this. Definitely the most important for a tree service. Create our campaign. So let's see how they bring us. They're probably going to make us create a Performance Max campaign. They sure are. This is where I would say tree services near me, tree removal near me, tree trimming near me. Keep it simple to start, and then you could always add locations that you're serving. So in this case, if we go to their service area at the top, so their service area, Carolina Forest, Myrtle Beach, Conway, Little River, Myrtle's Inlet, where I live, Pawleys Island. So back over here to Performance Max, I mean, really, we want to pause this campaign. This is going to be the best advice that you get is you can go through the process of creating this campaign. So final URL, we'll just create this campaign so you have some idea of Performance Max. A lot of times they actually pull in this pretty well. So final URL is fine, homepage, calls. So we have our account level call tracking. This is what we set up here. This is already added. We can still apply it to the campaign. There's no real difference. Headline, tree removal service, tree service, Myrtle Beach. These are actually all really good. I always like capitalizing everything. Marginal tree services, fast. Create urgency. Do things like #1 tree service, Myrtle Beach. This is not search, but I was going to say use dynamic keyword location insertions, but we don't really have that for our Performance Max ad groups. Our asset groups, these look good actually. Long headlines, these look fine. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably clean them up a little bit, but these aren't terrible. So some of the images, really what you would want to use are your own images. They'll pull in some. I apologize, I just keep showing this, guys. But the generated ones aren't terrible. These are, these honestly look kind of like, this looks like a Myrtle Beach tree removal image. So you could always use some of these generated images. So we will add those, click on save. Logo, they pull it right in. You want to add your logo here. Business name you want to add here. If you have videos from YouTube, definitely upload those here. They actually pull in a bunch of these. Golf course tree care, so good SEO there. Land and lot clearing. So this is all pretty decent. We'll click on next. Again, I wouldn't recommend starting with a Performance Max campaign. If you do, definitely a small Performance Max campaign. Like that would be my recommendation. Just you don't want to spend all of your budget on Performance Max. You want to spend your budget on search. So we'll click on next. Performance Max does run on search, but it's one of those, it runs across different channels. And a lot of times it just cannot always work that well. One of the things that I like is how much you want to spend per day. If we set a custom budget, they're actually going to show kind of a recommendation based on what other advertisers are spending. So their recommendation is at least spending this. A spending of this is basically saying, hey, we could drive you additional conversions, additional leads, but always look at the numbers. 4 weekly conversions, $100 a conversion, $450 weekly cost. Pretty good for a tree service. Eventually going too high, it's like, this is... Costs get a little high. If the conversions aren't great, it's not really the best budget to set. So sometimes you see setting a lower budget actually gives you more efficient results. They're probably, my guess would be somewhere in the $100 a day range. But for Performance Max, I'd be more down here. We'll click on next. And now we have our account and payment details. So let's make sure we don't show our payment details. So we're going to skip this part actually. Okay, 2 things. Do you want personalized guidance from a Google Ads account strategist by phone or messaging app? The answer is no. They are not helpful. They are going to give you very bad advice. I am giving you advice that will help you drive leads. They will give you advice that will make Google more money. So click on no here. Do we have European Union political ads? No, this campaign does not. So we'll click on submit. And as we wait for this, if you are interested in any help consulting, I do provide consulting packages through surfsideppc.com. So just go directly to consulting. We can consult about tree services here, but also if you're interested in SEO, meta ads, Google ads, basically the full marketing picture, then treecompanyleads.com is where you can find that. So if we come back over here, it's saying our ads will be live after being reviewed. Prove your return investment by measuring conversion. So it's saying sign and install a Google tag with GoDaddy. They probably figured out that this website is using GoDaddy as far as the domain itself. What you want to do is add this Google tag. There's a lot of ways to do this. Add this Google tag to your website. My favorite way to do this is with Google Tag Manager. So I just did a video on the Surfside PPC channel that is how to install Google Analytics 4, how to install Google Tag Manager, how to install Google Search Console. I highly recommend watching that video. It will definitely help you get started as you're starting like marketing for your tree service or improving your marketing for your tree service or auditing what your current agency's doing. So that is definitely something you want to get started with. The way that I would install it is take this specific tag right here. So the AW 179, that series of numbers that they have here. It's also in, if I could copy it correctly, it's also directly up here at the very end of this link. So you'll see this number as your Google tag. So it's going to say test installation. It's probably going to say it's not working, obviously, because I don't own this website. What you want to do is with Google Tag Manager, in your tags, you want to create what's called a Google Ads conversion tracking tag. So it's a new tag, Google Ads. It's going to be a Google tag here. So this is where it's a little confusing. I should name it differently. Google tag. It's our Google Ads Google tag. I guess that's what I'll call it. And just install it just like this and click on save. So I'm going to rename mine actually. So it's the Google Ads Google tag. A little confusing because there's a lot of different Google tags. That's why I made the video that I created. So that is on my Surfside PPC channel. I'm trying to get better with just like beginner marketing videos. So our Google Ads Google tag, this is obviously a different website, but basically what you want to do is install that Google Ads tag using Google Tag Manager, install Google Tag Manager on your website. So it involves adding these 2 pixels to your website. I do it with the WP Code WordPress plugin. So if you're using WordPress, install those 2 pixels with the WP Code plugin by going to the code snippets plugin link on the left. After you install and activate it, you'll see this here. WP Code at the top will also open that for you. And then header and footer. And right there, you can add your Google Tag Manager code. Very easy to create a Google Tag Manager account. Go to tagmanager.google.com and it, just kind of go through the process of creating an account for your website. It's like 3 steps. So it's pretty quick to create it. Install it using WordPress WP Code. This is the plugin. WP Code, you'll see at the top after you install and activate it, and it'll say code snippets on the left. Header and footer, add that there. So once you do that, then you're able to set up your conversion tracking much easier. So as you go through the process of creating campaigns, it's much easier to track everything that's happening. So the biggest mistake that I see for Google Ads for a tree service company, very first thing is doing what I just did, and that is creating a Performance Max campaign. The way that Google recommended it, I am not in the right Google account right now. Let's go into our tree company leads account. And we're going to pause this for right now. So Performance Max requires, there's a lot to it. So it's one of those things that this video, I don't want to focus on Performance Max. You could run the campaign that I just set up just the way it is. So campaign number 1, we have all campaigns set here. What I would double check is if we go back to our main campaign screen over here and scroll over and edit settings. So a few things that I would recommend. So first, and this could vary for a new, maximize conversions is definitely what you want to start with. Budget, I would recommend keeping low to start no matter what. If you set it too high, Google is going to waste a lot of your budget, especially from Performance Max. So keep this around, I would say maximum I would set it at is $100 a day. If you're just trying to spend and really like do a local ads blitz, I mean, you can increase it, but you're just going to end up spending more and not really seeing results. Locations, so in our advanced search, just make sure the locations make sense. I assume this is where they target. Their service area on the website makes more sense just doing Horry County. That looks like more of there. And honestly, their targeting looks more like right here, kind of this down area through Pawleys Island. So this probably isn't even a correct, but the main thing is add your locations correctly. And then within location options, choose presence. So you always want to choose presence, make sure people are physically in that location. So we're going to save that there. Now, the next thing you would want to do is go into your goals and conversions. Actually, the call and messaging terms, we would want to fix it and make sure that we have this set up correctly. So account name, I'm just going to name this tree company leads so we can, we're going to be doing a lot of tree service tutorials, marketing tutorials. So if you are looking for an agency, basically call and messaging ads terms, accept, save, and that's it. That should fix that. Fix it, dismiss. The other thing I always recommend doing when you create your account is turn conversion-based lists on. So that will automatically create additional audiences. It's highly recommend turning conversion-based lists on through your admin account settings. So next, if we go to our campaigns, I'm going to pause this campaign because I don't want this to run. We did accept this, probably just needs to go through. So 2 steps, basically conversion tracking, and then also making sure that we create a search campaign. So what I'm going to be going over right now is going to be conversion tracking, but kind of a quick version of it. I have a lot of videos on my channel about conversion tracking. So the Surfside PPC channel, I will do a full conversion tracking video for a tree service company. So I will do that. But if we go to goals here, conversions and summary, this is where you're going to find all of your conversion goals. The very first one should already be created. So when you set up your phone number from the ad, calls from ads is already created. As long as you have your call asset added, which we did, then this should be here. Main thing is going to settings. You don't want to count every conversion for a phone call. If somebody calls you like 5 times in the same day, you don't need to count them as 5 separate conversions. You really want unique phone calls. Now, if it's somebody calls you and 45 days later calls you for another job, great. We want to count that person twice. But if they're calling you multiple times all the time, if they happen to call you multiple times within 30 days, fine, for 2 separate jobs. But for the most part, it's going to signal one job. So that's going to be first things first, is calls from ads. Next, we come to our conversion summary page, and we need to create 2 separate conversion actions. So in this case, it is going to be, actually it's 3 total conversion actions. It is going to be conversions on a website and conversions from phone calls. So we're going to save and continue. Phone call lead, create conversion, calls from website visits. We're going to do the first one. Somebody calls a number shown on my website. Now, this is really important. Right here, we need to show exactly how it looks on the website. So for this website, we copy and paste it just like that. That's exactly how it looks. Up here, it needs to match Google's format below. So we need to do a parentheses and hyphen, and there we go. So now we have phone number that they're going to reach, and then we actually have the Google forwarding. So this is going to be the number that Google replaces. So we're going to use this event, create conversion action, calls from website visits. Somebody makes a call by clicking a number on your website. So their phone number is linked, which is correct, to a TEL that goes directly to this phone number. So that is set up correctly. And what we want to do over here is we could save and continue this for phone call leads. Okay, now we've created 2 new conversion actions. When you get to this page, you're going to see set up with a Google tag. What we want to do is just click on finish. Okay, so now we should have 2 new conversion actions in there. The next thing that we're going to do is create 1 more conversion action, and this one is going to be submit lead form. So it's actually going to be conversions on a website. We're going to do it via our Google tag, which is not installed yet. That's fine. We're going to do submit lead form, and we're going to do manually with code. And for this one, we'll just do like submit contact form, submit free estimate form. So however you want to name this, there's no right or wrong way. Primary action. I always use the same value and set this as 1, count 1. You could leave these as is. Enhanced conversions, we will want to set up, not configured at this time, but it is something you want to use. So save and continue. And now we scroll down and turn on enhanced conversions. That works. There are different ways to install that. I'm not going to go over that in this video. That will be a follow-up video. Submit lead form is misconfigured, and phone call lead is also not working, needs attention. So how do we actually set up these conversion actions? Well, Google Tag Manager. So once you install this, what you want to do is go over to your workspace, and you want to first, we went over the Google Ads, Google Tag. That's the first thing you want to do, and I'll show you how to find that pretty easily as well. Google Analytics 4, create a profile. You can install your tag right here. This is the one for Corey's Turf. And then what you need to create is the conversion linker tag. So create a new tag, name it conversion linker, click on the first box, the tag configuration box, Google Ads conversion linker. You'll also see this. So as you are setting up these conversion actions, so if we set up this click to call one, this is our, what I call a mobile clicks to call. This is somebody comes to your website on their mobile phone and clicks on this link to call you. So when you are setting this up, you'll see at the very bottom of the details tab of this specific conversion action, tag setup, use Google Tag Manager, and your conversion ID is actually your Google Ads Google tag. It's just you add AW in front of it to install it, the AW hyphen plus this number. So that is the one that when you're setting up your, discard changes, you're setting up your Google Ads Google tag. That's how you find that number. And then conversion linker, when you are setting this up, you'll see, make sure you add a conversion linker tag and configure it to fire on all of your web pages. So that's just necessary just to make sure that Google Tag Manager can track your Google Ads conversion tags. Looks just like this. Create a tag, Google Ads conversion linker. You can enable linking on all page URLs, but you don't have to select that. And then initialization all pages and click on save. So that will track, make sure that conversions are set up to be tracked. So now let's get into setting up for the mobile clicks to call conversion. This one requires an extra step. So if we go to variables over here and we click on configure, you want to select some of these, just select all of these click variables. I generally do the form variables. I also do a few other ones, so we'll just add these because I usually do them. On-screen duration, percent visible. Sometimes I'll do scrolling, so you could track like everything. Videos watched, video provider, how long they watch the video. There's a lot of built-in events in Google Analytics 4, but Google Tag Manager tracks a lot of different variables as people are like clicking around your website. So next we will go to tags, create a new tag. This is going to be mobile clicks to call. You can name it a Google Ads conversion, just like that. Tag configuration, Google Ads. And what you want to do is do the Google Ads conversion tracking tag. So when you click on tags here, it's always the first two at the top are Google Analytics, Google Ads. Click on it, Google Ads conversion tracking. Our conversion ID and conversion label you'll find directly within the actual conversion goal itself. So when you click on your conversion goal, click to call, we'll click on it. Click on edit settings first. And I always try to name this the same as it is in Google Tag Manager. So click on save, date created, good. All right, the rest of this is fine. You can use the same value, $1. Basically, this just counts one conversion is worth $1. Come over to the details tab again, and we'll scroll down, tag for mobile clicks to call, use Google Tag Manager, and click on the conversion ID. You'll see that over here. And then let's click on the conversion label, copy that here, and then we need a trigger. So the trigger is going to be click on the plus sign. I always name this TEL. So basically we're just tracking clicks on links that contain TEL. So basically clicks on phone number, call links. Click on this box here, click on the click and just links, some link clicks when the click URL contains. So just like that. There's other things you can set up to make this a little bit better, but this will track it pretty well just doing it this way. Click on save. We don't have our Google tag created for this specific one yet, so that's why it's giving us that error. This other Google tag is for Corey'sTurf.com. So next we are going to click on new again. We're going to set up our next conversion tracking tag. So mobile clicks to call should be all good to go. This is called desktop phone calls, what I like to call it, but basically call forwarding. So anybody who's on a non-mobile device that visits your website or a device they can't call from. So I always just call them desktop phone calls, but it uses call forwarding because it requires somebody to actually take out a phone and type in the number on the website. Desktop phone calls. The rest of this looks good. Okay, so go to details, tag setup, use Google Tag Manager, conversion ID. So what we're going to do here is desktop phone calls. This one, the tag configuration is Google Ads, but it is Google Ads calls from website conversion. You have to do the actual displayed phone number in this box. So we'll put our conversion ID. We will get our displayed phone number right here. This is the displayed phone number. We'll put that page up here and then back over here for our conversion label, and we'll put that there. And this one's easy to set up. The trigger is just going to be initialization all pages. This is actually tracking phone calls to this number that lasts longer than 60 seconds. So the tag fires on every page. It only tracks a conversion when that takes place. So this one is a little bit different than some of the other ones, but it's a really good conversion because it tracks 60-second phone calls on your website that people make. So it's one that tracks really well. So let's just submit this. We have one more conversion action to set up, and then we can create kind of a basic campaign to get started. I'll show basic overview of a campaign. There's a lot of steps in this, and there's a lot of things I will try to cover, but there's a lot of things I'll probably miss just because there's a lot of little details involved in all of these steps. So desktop phone calls we have created here. Next is going to be submit lead form. So for this one, I'm going to assume that their lead form redirects to a thank you page. So let's just say when somebody fills out get a free estimate, they may have a thank you page here. Let's see. They don't, but a lot of times I'll do a thank you page. Thank you for contacting us. Someone will be in touch with you shortly. Give us a call to get your project started. Put a call button right here. That's how I usually create thank you pages. You'll see a good example on Corey'sTurf.com. Thank you for contacting us. We have your information. We'll reach out shortly. Ready to get started. Give us a call. Just take your phone call button that you have everywhere and put it right there. So we are going to come back over here to our submit lead form. We're going to go right down to the tag. Everything else should be set up correctly. One conversion. Use Google Tag Manager, conversion ID. So we're going to create a new tag over here. What did I say? Submit free estimate form, tag configuration, Google Ads, conversion tracking, conversion ID there, conversion label here. Triggering for this one, we're going to assume they have a thank you page that the form redirects to. Basically two ways to track this. So you could try this. It may work. A custom event called form_submit. That may track all of your forms on your website perfectly fine. So a lot of times if you have Google Analytics 4 installed and you have the custom events already kind of created. This should work properly, but it doesn't always work properly. So the way that you can also do it, sorry, discard changes, but you could do just event form underscore submit. The other way to do it is creating a thank you page and saying the trigger is going to be page view, some page views when the page URL contains, and this is wherever you send your traffic. If it's confirmation, if it's, thank you, thanks, however you have it, I usually just do it just like this. Thank you, page URL contains thank you trigger, save, and we will save this. And now you would want to submit this and publish it. Don't want to do that because this is not actually the correct, it's for a completely different business. So it doesn't really make sense to do that, but that's what you would want to do. Next is creating a search campaign. So this is really the most important thing, and creating a search campaign and starting fresh is not easy. So there's two different ways to really start this and see kind of what happens. Going the approach of saying, I am going to target kind of more wide open keywords, set conversion-based bidding. This is what's hard about Google Ads tutorials right now is most my tutorials are different based on accounts with previous data versus accounts that don't have it. So the way that I would do this is create a new campaign. We're going after leads. We have our phone call leads and our submit lead form, our 4 conversion actions. The other one you would want to track is this live chat down here. So they would actually have 5 conversion actions unless the live chat uses a similar trigger to that one. So continue. So you'll see the different campaign types. So they automatically make us create a performance max now, which is just something. But search is what we want to create here. And we're going to do website visits and phone calls. So for them, we would take our website. I'll probably go through this process fairly quickly. I'll have some more detailed tutorials coming out, somewhere I don't go through the whole entire process. But okay, so we have our phone number here. There we go. And this should the phone number is probably already added to our account level, so you don't really need to add this every time. And campaign name, we'll say, tree service campaign. Now, as far as campaign types and targeting and, how to split those up, it really depends on budget and how you want to spend and where you want to put your money, essentially. So if you said, hey, we do all of these services, I just want leads, I don't really care what it is, as long as it's, good jobs. Basically, what I would generally do is tree removal, tree trimming. Emergency tree care is always a good keyword, but there's just not a ton of search volume behind it. Land clearing is something that I may put in a separate ad group, or a separate campaign, but I'd probably just keep that in the same campaign as well. And then tree services is another one. The other keywords, like there's arborist, there are tree maintenance, tree care. Some of them are not always the greatest. So this is one problem with doing this is it won't actually track those call conversions because this number is going to stay the same. So there's a possibility that they get actual calls because somebody types in this number from Google Ads that wouldn't track correctly. Good images. These all look really good. And the other thing is you always want a clickable call button because it's just so much easier to track. So just an important aspect in terms of, okay, so let's just say we want to create a tree removal campaign. That, not a bad thing to kind of start with. So let's just do tree removal campaign, continue. And once I show you this, you could see how to create all the other ad groups too. Okay, first things first is bidding. So you can start your campaign saying, I want to focus on conversions. And then when you're doing keyword targeting, you would really want to do more phrase match keywords. So if you focus on conversions and you use exact match keywords, generally you're not going to get much activity. If you use broad match keywords, you're going to get a lot of junk and waste in the beginning. Same thing with phrase match, you're probably going to get a lot of junk too. So I prefer to actually start a brand new campaign with using clicks bidding and setting a maximum cost per click bid limit and setting this fairly high and targeting exact match keywords. Now, the other option is saying conversions, setting a target cost per action. This is the best bidding strategy. So let's just say we set this at like $75. This is the best bidding strategy long term. So manual bidding is not the best bidding strategy long term. Opening up your targeting to phrase match, even broad match in some cases, focusing on conversions, getting really good conversion actions tracking. So you know that when conversions come in, at the very least, somebody called you, somebody filled out a form, you got somebody's information. This is ultimately how you want to bid. However, it doesn't always work initially. So sometimes I tell people you can start your campaign, and this is not a bad strategy, saying, I want to focus on conversions. When you're doing your budget, always remember budget, bidding, and bidding strategy all work hand in hand. When you're doing your budget, if you're using maximize conversions bidding on a brand new campaign, do not set it too high. So in this case, I wouldn't go any higher than $100 a day, which I think I already mentioned for Performance Max. I wouldn't go any higher than $100 a day for a local market targeting with your Google ads. But the thing is, you need to have a really close eye on the results that are coming in. Launching brand new is honestly very, very difficult. It's one of the main reasons I think people end up coming to me is because they launch brand new, waste a lot of money, try it for a few months, and then it's like, all right, let me just hire somebody to do this. Performance Max, the problem with it is it's going to make you think like, oh, we're driving great new results. And ultimately what it does is it finds a lot of low-hanging fruit. If you have a previous customer who's searching your brand, if you have a current customer who's just looking to get in touch about, hey, can you guys come around? They might click on your ad and it counts that as a conversion. What I want is people that are tree services near me. I want my ads at the very top. I want to bid aggressively for those. The best way to do that to start with is using clicks, maximum cost per click bid limit. A lot of times for tree services, I'm starting this at like $25. I know that sounds high, but that's tree service clicks are expensive. We click on next here. Networks, we always exclude these two. And then for locations, them, I would probably just do the cities they have targeted. To make this a little bit quicker, I am going to, we don't even have a match with Myrtle Beach. There we go. I am just going to do just add Myrtle Beach in here. But really what you would want to do is set up targeting for all of these different service areas. Carolina Forest, Myrtle Beach, Conway, Little River, Murrells Inlet, Pawleys Island. So all of these cities. And then Horry County, I guess Horry County is a little bit big. I'd probably do like radius targeting around these areas. This is all around the beach area. So basically I would probably set radius targeting around the beach. The way that would look is, so I would add all the cities in and then do a radius. Helps to know the area a little bit. It's not letting us do, so if we did like a 7-mile radius around each city, that'd probably be a good, Conway. Yeah, that would probably get most of their market and just kind of target exactly where they want to target. And then I would add in the cities here too. So nothing wrong with adding in some of these cities. I don't know. This is a little far from me. So yeah, that's how I would probably target all these areas. So fill out Murrells Inlet, Pawleys Island, location options, presence, English. No, this campaign does not have EU political ads. I do not plan to use it to run EU political ads. Audience segments, I always say just add a ton of audience segments to your campaign. If you're a tree service, then a lot of times what I'll do is I'll browse or I'll search tree service, select all of these. I'll search homeowner, like who are you targeting? Perfect. You know, if they're in market for all of this stuff, home insurance, auto insurance, generally it's like the people all might need. With audience targeting, you're not limiting your ads to these audiences. You're seeing how these audiences perform. So if electrician services ends up being an audience that performs twice as good as, health and personal loans or something like that, then Google is going to show ads to people in that audience more often. So I try to add a lot of these. The other thing you can do is browse. Affinity are like kind of wide open. So sometimes I'll add some of the affinity audiences and just see, if it's like home and garden does way better than all of these. So let's make sure people are in that audience if we're targeting them and, go after people that are more likely to convert long term. Ad rotation optimize is good. Start and end date's good. Ad scheduling, I would recommend running ads all day, but you need to run ads when you are answering the phone and booking jobs, which probably all day. Most people are not going to call after hours and they're going to call within regular business hours. So we'll click on next. Okay, so I'll click on next again. All right, keyword and asset generation. So you can use this. It works fine. They have ad groups here. So the first one is professional tree service in Myrtle Beach. I'm going to do two services here. We're going to do tree removal and we're going to do tree trimming. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep it simple. Actually, we're just going to do tree removal because you'll know basically how I set this up. It'll make sense. So tree removal, we'll set our landing page to tree removal, click on save. Okay, so this is our ad group. This is our final URL. Can add additional ad groups in here. I would probably, if I'm creating this from scratch, I'd probably do tree service, tree removal, tree trimming, emergency tree care, land and lot clearing, service area. So I'd probably do like 6 total ad groups, I'd say, and then I'd have keywords in all the ad groups for my different service areas. And if we go to Myrtle Beach, okay, so they do have stump grinding, so they don't have that as a service. Okay, so ad groups, click on edit, not the keywords you would want to target. What I would recommend targeting is if we're doing just tree removal near me. Let's actually do this. Okay. So enter all your keywords in here, enter the final URL. We get absolutely nothing. Okay. So the easiest way to start is you could do things like tree removal near me, tree removal Myrtle Beach. These ones may not even come up. I don't even know if this one's listed. These are not huge markets whatsoever. think that's all of them, isn't it? Conway, Little River, Carolina Forest. Carolina Forest, I don't even know if that's considered a real town, so we'll add it. It's probably going to be low search volume. We could do Horry County, and then sometimes if you do like South Carolina, it can work. And then we'll just, okay, and then we'll just do that in the beginning. Now the brackets signify that it's an exact match keyword. You'll see that down here. This is how different keywords work. Exact is in brackets, phrase is in quotes. Nothing is broad match. I would avoid broad match keywords unless you have really good conversion data in your account. So the goal initially is building up your conversion data. So really what we're trying to do is just get all of the best keywords to start with. These are all really high intent search keywords that I'm willing to bid really high on because I think they're really good keywords. Now, if we do things like hazardous tree removal near me, a lot of these, you could basically do the near me version and you could do the Myrtle Beach version. If you do near me, it'll cover all of that. So it's not something where you have to add all of these different keywords. Near me handles a lot of keywords. The other thing is you could do things like local tree removal companies, tree removal company near me, tree removal services near me. And we could do tree removals. Now, what's going to happen over time is you add a lot of these keywords. They're very high search intent. Most of it's going to go to a few main keywords like tree removal near me. That carries a lot of the volume for these searches. So ultimately what you're trying to do long term is expand to phrase match keywords, potentially go to broad match keywords. I do use broad match for clients that have really high budgets, really going after a lot of leads and, willing to spend on additional clicks that sometimes might not turn into conversions. So they can work. Then down here, we need to set up our ads. So headlines, your trusted tree removal pros. These actually aren't terrible. Expert tree removal. So I would just say if you're doing a tree removal, make sure everything is just focused on tree removal. You don't need to talk about professional tree removal. I don't know what felling is. It's probably a word. I just don't know it. Tree removal. And so now you could do this. This is fine. Doing two services is great because people will be like, oh, good, they do both. Your trees are expertise. Good, good, good. Now, the other thing I would do is just like Myrtle Beach. Make sure you have a local focus. Use keyword insertion. So we could just copy and paste this. Keyword insertion, title case, Myrtle Beach tree removal. Great. This will actually insert the keyword that most closely matches their search term, that their search term actually, triggered. And it's going to put that keyword in the headline. Last one is going to be doing location. And we'll just do Myrtle Beach, location, city, Myrtle Beach. And then we could do tree removal. So doing that will make a huge difference for your campaign. And then copying this and doing things like this. So Myrtle Beach tree removal, period, storm damaged trees. There you go, removal experts. And then we could take this keyword insertion. We'll copy this. I wish they made this a little easier sometimes. There we go. Perfect. And then we have commercial. We offer fast, affordable, and safe tree removal services. Licensed and insured experts handle hazardous tree removal. Perfect. These are good. I would recommend adding descriptions to them. I am not going to be doing that today. Call outs or something, just adding additional business information. Open 24/7, emergency services, commercial services. You could add in things like pine tree, palm tree. That could also be used in structured snippets. So in structured snippets, I would probably do your service catalog. So tree removal, tree trimming, stump grinding, commercial tree services, anything like emergency tree removal. That's what I would do with structured snippets. Don't really use promotion, pricing, lead forms, or apps. So you could ignore those unless you have a reason to use them. Call outs, are just selling points. And then we could click on save. So now we have our keywords. We have our tree removal ad group. We have our ad going to our tree removal landing page. If you were to create a tree trimming ad group, you would create a new ad group manually and basically use the exact same keywords I have and just replace removal with trimming. And you could even do another variation of pruning. So tree trimming and pruning near me, tree pruning near me, tree removal near me. You could do all three of those all in the same ad group. Change your ad copy, change your final URL, just make sure it's closely relevant to whichever service you're targeting, and just continue doing that process for all of these. Emergency tree or emergency tree care, emergency tree removal, emergency tree services. All of that could be one ad group. Land clearing, lot clearing, just use near me, use Myrtle Beach, use these local based keywords and you'll see much better results. Just realize clicks are expensive. Good clicks are expensive in Google Ads, just is what it is. Average daily budget, this is basically saying this is what we think you can get and this is kind of what we recommend. This is saying, hey, if you want additional weekly clicks, this is actually very reasonable. I need to get a tree removal client in Myrtle Beach. So set your budget, click on next, and then we can publish this campaign. And now what I would recommend doing is if you said, Corey, we have a $3,000 budget to start, I'd probably run search at about $80 to $90 a day, performance max at $10 to $20 a day. My goal initially is getting conversion data in. And then once I have conversion data in, then it's much easier to kind of expand our budget and figure out, hey, we could spend $5,000 to $6,000 a month, see pretty consistent results. I'll remove all the crap that's coming into your account and campaign, and we'll basically just continue optimizing everything. So we're going to pause this one as well, but this is going to wrap up this video. Again, treecompanyleads.com if you need any help, but basically how to set up Google ads for a tree service company. I'm going to basically do a series of me creating a fake tree service company and kind of the steps that I would take from start to finish. Obviously, if you're like, I don't want to watch these videos and learn how to do this stuff, just reach out and it'll be much easier that way. And if you're just looking for a little bit of help in the right direction, consulting can go a long way. And I do have a Google Ads course. So if you're interested in more Google Ads information, then Surfside PPC, you can get my Google Ads course. So that will wrap up this video. Thank you for watching, and make sure you subscribe to the Surfside PPC YouTube channel.